What is up, Maniacs, and welcome to Broadened Horizon. I'm your host, Drake Riggs, here to bring you episode 39. On this final show, before a big episode 40, we'll be joined by the Rizin 47 headliners. Rizin 47 goes down on June 9th in Shibuya and features a highly anticipated rematch between Rizin flyweight champion Kyoji Horiguchi and former Bellator bantamweight champion Sergio Pettis. First up on Broadened Horizon will be the younger Pettis brother as he discusses his preparation for the trip to Japan and more. Horiguchi will close us out and share his desire for redemption, all while recapping his grand title victory his last time out, of course. Thanks as always to our great guests for chatting, and thanks to everyone who supports the show, whether you've been watching on MMAmania.com, YouTube, or listening on Spotify. Thanks as always, and don't forget to hit like and share if you enjoy. First up, we have the former Bellator bantamweight champion Sergio Pettis. How we doing, man? Happy Tuesday here.
Thank you, bro. Doing well. How you doing today?
Yeah, can't complain. It's very rainy, so it's like making me a little tired naturally just with the grayness outside, you know what I mean? But other than that, can't complain.
I get the same way, dude. I get the same way in Wisconsin. When it's winter time, it's like, yo, it's
I know, ready for summer.
Where are you from?
I'm in the Portland area, so West Coast. Yeah, so
Yeah.
quite used to it, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but it still hits me, you know?
That's real. It's definitely real.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. So great getting to catch up with you again, man. Very excited for the fight coming up here. And first of all, Sergio, got to say, incredible endorsement from Trump last week. Very unexpected, I'm sure.
Yeah, Trump was showing some mad love.
Crazy, man. Crazy. That was funny. Good stuff there, man. But yeah, Rizin debut, taking on Kyoji again, going over to Japan, man. I mean, just tell me how excited you were when you got like the opportunity to do this. Of course, rematching someone like Kyoji, but I think more so getting to do it in Rizin and like in the environment and all that's got to be cool, right?
Whole different environment for me. The rules set, fighting in a ring. On top of that, going to Japan. My first time ever going to Japan. So heard some great things. My brother Anthony had to compete in Tokyo back in the days. So yeah, he told me some great things. Very, very nice people, clean streets, clean city in general. So yeah, I'm very excited, man. I got the call and instantly was like, yep, I'm down. I'm down to take this fight for sure. And Kyoji definitely, deserves it. That after that last showing, was beating me up for a little bit, but yeah. So.
Yeah, going to be an awesome one, man. I just love everything about it. So for you, though, in terms of preparation, like how soon you plan to get out there? You're going to try and enjoy things a little bit or maybe worry about that afterwards? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, worry about that afterwards. Right now, it's just I'm going to go out there pretty much fight week. I get there Monday before I fight the Sunday. So hopefully enough time to just get acclimated to the first day because that's usually when I feel it the most. But yeah, man, just a normal fight week, just this time in Tokyo and this time for Rizin.
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah, we'll talk more about that. But last time we caught up, Sergio, I believe it was right before your last fight. So the Patchy lost, unfortunately, man. But, guy's pretty good and you're pretty good yourself. So, I mean, like, I got to wonder, I'm sure you've taken away a lot of things from that one. So, like, biggest takeaways from the last fight, what would you say they've been going into this one?
Biggest takeaway was just really being able to tune in and focus. Being a champion, there's a lot of pressure that goes on to these fights. And, it's a different mentality of going for the belt as opposed to keeping the belt, and that's one thing that I had to learn and had to go through. Patchy at the moment wanted that belt really bad. You could see it in his eyes. You could see the want. And at that time, man, honestly, I was just really focused on other things outside of fighting and no taking away from Patchy. He beat me at my best performance. But yeah, man, I was just caught up on other things and there's a big eye opener in how important this career is to me and how important, being a champion is in general. That's why I got mad respect for people that are champions and can navigate stuff outside of fighting and still not let that affect their fighting at all. So yeah, it was tough for me.
No, understandable, man. It's kind of crazy. You look at kind of all the title fights you had, like as champ, and getting the belt. Just they were all huge, man. You got some really, in terms of big names and just the fight status and magnitude, they were all big ones. So I'm sure that gets a little bit more draining than people realize. Like, especially with your caliber, I don't think many people are going to go through that.
Yeah, it was definitely I instantly after I beat Pitbull, I really didn't get a chance to enjoy it because
Right.
I had age and it's just like, all right, I already know who's next and on to the next one. And yeah, man, it was just a big eye opener for me though, like a big eye opener. I'm glad I went through that. And Patchy, great champion, deserves a belt and he's been doing some good things. I think he kind of felt the pressure of being a champion his last fight. You could see his performance was a little different. It's a lot to navigate.
Well,
And he
yeah.
just proposed for a couple of days before.
Yeah,
It's a lot to that.
things going on outside for him too. Yeah, so congrats to the happy couple. Pretty good as is Tatiana. But yeah, you mentioned that one. I wanted to ask you about the fight was last Friday in Paris. I mean, split decision, man. So I mean, close. A lot of people think it could have went either way. Magomedov, though, I think he doesn't get enough love and respect. That's kind of thing. People are knocking Patchy. Everyone says the Bellator shit, which is annoying. Like if you're not in the UFC, you're not gonna be the best. And he was saying that, which of course, gotta have that confidence. And you guys are all just in the group of the best, anyways. But the fans, it's more so what I'm saying. I'll knock people. But what did you make of that one? Did you think he rightfully got the nod there? Just give some respect to Magomedov is what I'm kind of saying. But just how'd you feel about the fight?
And I was very impressed with Magomedov, especially from their first showing. He made the great adjustments. He actually got put in some situations that he was put in before and stayed calm and fought his way out of it. So very good improvements. His boxing looked amazing, hit some nice angles. I was very impressed with his performance. Patchy, he's very durable. It's one thing about Patchy. He's kept coming forward. He took some big shots, which I respect, man, because a lot of people that took those shots would have possibly been put on their ass. And Patchy, stayed up, stayed fighting, stayed as a champion, faced some adversity. As far as the outcome, I could have seen it, definitely going either way, to be honest, depending on who's watching the fight. Patchy, I think the last round did take it, where Magomedov kind of slowed down a little bit. I think if Magomedov were to pick up the pace in that last round, it could have been a little different. But hey, man, the judges got it right. The winner's the winner, and that'll be on his record for the rest of his life.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's one of those things. One of those things that make rematches so interesting and kind of fun, perplexing, and why it's great to talk to you about this one, man, because you're in one of these very unique situations where you have one under the regular rules that we're all accustomed to over here, but then you're going over to Japan where it's a new ballpark in terms of everything, right? So I want to ask you, man, like so far, I'm sure you're adapting to everything, right? But what do you think you have to adapt to more against Kyoji this time around? The rule set in the ring or the fight being 3 rounds?
Both actually. Those are both big things that I got to be aware of. I had 5 rounds to figure them out. This time I only got 3 rounds, so I believe the pace would be a lot more higher. It's going to be a lot more intense. The ring in general is going to be a little different. I don't think he'll be able to move as well as he did in the cage as in the ring. Like I feel like we're going to be forced to fight a little bit more, and I'm excited for that. I think that's where I shine the most. When people try to fight me, I'm able to really implement my game plan and my style. So yeah, man, there's definitely some interesting things. Obviously, the soccer kicks, the stomps,
Right.
being able to hit him off my back and my guard, and him doing the same thing to me. So it's pretty much a street fight inside of a ring in Japan, and that sounds pretty awesome to me. That's what I'm here for, to take these opportunities, risk it to get the biscuit, and I love bread.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what I love about it so much is that, not to say a fight isn't realistic or anything, but the rule set is more realistic, I think, in terms of what's allowed, right? Like, because in a street fight, like you said, anything goes. And one of the examples I always use to just people in general when I talk about it is if you think about, and I'm shout out to Miyu Yamamoto who's done this, but like in armbar positions where you get stuck in that, then you can kick the person in the face while you're getting armbarred. Like, no one thinks about that until you see it.
Possibilities. Now that I'm playing around with this stuff in the gym, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of places I can hit him, and there's a lot of places he can hit me that weren't there in the first fight. So
It's
definitely going
awesome.
to be.
Yeah, man. And so, I mean, you touched on a little bit there with Kyoji and kind of the way he'll approach maybe in terms of the enclosures with the ring and the cage difference. But do you really expect anything too different from him? Like, he's a smart guy, but, considering, people will say, he was winning most of the fight until you caught him there at the end. But just are you kind of expecting the same from him? Or I guess, what are you thinking in that regard?
I feel like if you go into a fight expecting something, you end up getting the opposite. For the last fight I fought him, I was expecting a stand-up war, to be honest. I thought he was going to try to keep it standing with me. And he did the opposite. He took me down. He grinded me out. He put me in positions that were uncomfortable. And I feel that will probably happen again this fight. He's going to try to put me into the ring. I won't have a cage to walk up on as easy as I did in the ring. He can hit me while he's on the floor. So I believe that's where he's going to try to take the fight. ATT, great wrestlers, great MMA in general. So I know they're going to be mixing it all up. And yeah, I'm expecting that. And I mean, I'm ready for wherever it goes. If he wants to stand, we can stand. If he wants to grapple, I can grapple as well. I feel like I've made a lot of improvements. And my last fight, I didn't get to show it as much, obviously, because I only had 2 rounds. But yeah, there's a lot of improvements that were made.
And how is kind of cutting the flyweight for you now, man? Because obviously been at bantamweight, spending your time there the last so many years, right? And I mean, can you really say how it's going right now, or how do you think it will be? Since we haven't got to fight weekend actually, got down
Oh,
to
so
the mark.
this fight, I'm not fighting him at flyweight. I'm fighting him at 135. So I will be
Oh,
taking him at weight. Yeah, they offered me the flyweight belt um to fight him for the 125 belt. They only gave me a certain time frame, it was about like 8 weeks, and
mm,
yeah, I couldn't make that weight to be honest. I just got married. I just was living a little bit, little
right.
lavishly, a little bit. So yeah, they gave me the call, and I just told him the truth. Honestly, I won't make 125 for this fight, but I can make 135 if he's willing to rematch me at 135. I'd take it. 125 is out the books. If you guys give me some more time, I'll make it. But yeah, uh, not enough time. So
Okay. All right. So yeah, when it was initially announced, that's what I thought that it said, and I was like, okay, interesting. He's going back for the flyweight gold there. But is that something you're interested in though? Let's say win this one trilogy fight just to go for the gold or the accomplishments, or are you just kind of not worried about the weight?
I believe flyweight is an option for me as well. My weight for 135 is pretty decent right now. Like with the right time frame and the right people around me, I'll make 125. So that definitely could be an option later on. But right now, like getting through this fight, we'll see how things go. Um, I mean, I'd like to take his belt. That'd be awesome. Getting the Risen belt, that'll cement my legacy, and the Pettis last name in general will have damn near all the belts: UFC, WC, Bellator, Risen, shit, maybe PFL. There's
Right.
some things that are in store this couple years for me.
So I'm curious, man. Like, was it getting pretty difficult for you, like when you were leaving flyweight and going to bantamweight, for, permanently? I know you bounced around a little bit before that earlier on in your career, but what was kind of the final decision there that made you be like, all right, let's give bantamweight a good run, and worked out? But I'm curious, was the weight like a big reason for that?
Yeah, I just felt like I was a little bit of a different fighter. I was more fragile at 125, so my fight camps were more dictated around making weight as
Mm,
opposed to, being durable and, focusing on the fighting in general. Where at 135, I feel like I have my power, I have my feet, my mind in general. I'm not completely fog brained. And yeah, as I'm getting older, I'm sure that weight cut would be a little bit tougher, and you'll see guys that as they get older, sometimes they go down in weight classes and it's not the greatest thing for them. So we'll see, man. If I had the right time frame, and my chef, Ian Larios, he's got a great game plan for me as always. He thinks we can make it. So yeah, I mean, I just got to trust my team and trust myself. I think where I'm at nowadays at 30 years old and the mentality I am, going back down to flyweight wouldn't be too bad for me. I'm more strict as an athlete, as a human, and I feel like that power is still there. At 25 now. Before I didn't believe in myself. Now I really know what I am capable of doing.
yeah, just all about learning, man. Taking the journey one step at a time, and I'm sure it's a little bit hard when you do see Big Bro go and fight Roy Jones in like 200 pounds. You're like, well, if he can do that.
Yeah, man. I'm in the lifestyle. I'll tell you what. I'm way happier at 135 than I am at 125.
Mm.
125. Yeah, it's a little bit it's a trickier weight cut for me. So yeah, man. I just want to be a happy guy. When I fight happy, I'm a really good fighter. When I fight sad or depleted or emotional, that's when things usually don't go well for me.
Yeah, of course, man. Again, hasn't been an issue at bantamweight. Been doing pretty well there. So nice to have the option if you're just feeling like stealing some belts, right? So there's that.
Yeah, there's some options for me, man. I'm down to go down 25 if necessary, or box or whatever.
Mhm.
Whatever they give, I'm down for it all.
Of course, man. Of course. So I'm assuming this is probably like see how it goes first type of thing. But will you want to try and fight in Ryzen again, like no matter what after this one, or just kind of see how it goes first?
I really don't have any opinions on that at the moment. Right now it is just see how things are, see how the organization is. It's my first time fighting for them, so see how things are ran, see what things are looking like behind the scenes, and as far as numbers and as far as all of that, that all will play a factor into it. And I mean, I've always a goal of mine was to make my way to Japan and to Asia and compete there and touch a new fan base. So if this is, the opportunity and all goes well, I don't have no problem with that, man. I'm not an organization fighter. I'm not a UFC fighter. I'm not a Bellator fighter. I'm not a Risen fighter, a PFL fighter. I'm a prize fighter at the end of the day. And no matter where I'm at, as long as I go out there, perform, make some money doing what I love to do, I'm there.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I want to ask you that, man, because like we just talked about bantamweight and stuff there, and it's kind of tricky with PFL specifically, and not having their bantamweight tournament at the moment. And I'm sure you and Anthony have talked just a bunch about his experiences through the actual tournament. And in this case, for you, you'd have to go up to featherweight for that, which I'm not sure how interested you are. But like, is that kind of tricky to navigate? And you just kind of got to wait and see what's going on with their side of things more than anything, right?
For sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is. I've been in this position before. As a younger man, flyweight division, things were getting a little hectic down there, talking about getting rid of the division, and moved up to a bantamweight, got beat up by Rob Font, and then went back down to flyweight. So yeah, I mean, I've been in this position before, and what I've learned in that situation was that don't get too far ahead of yourself, because I mean, look, the flyweight division is still around, is flourishing. It's actually doing really well right now. So no thoughts on that, no over anticipations, no anxieties. Just kind of taking it day by day. That's who I am as a person. I don't live too far ahead. I don't live in the past. So right now, yeah, just June 9th, all that matters. Everything outside of that, whatever happens, God willing, things will go well. And that's all I could really dictate and control is myself.
Of course, man. Of course. So I don't want to look too far ahead then with that in mind, right? We're going about Kyoji first of all, but with just 2024, we'll keep it then. What are kind of the goals you want to hit by the end of the year, man? And, you mentioned all the possibilities for the Pettis name and all the gold you guys have accomplished in your career. Is there something specific that you would like to check off a box, aside from, beating Kyoji, which is the first order of business, but by the end of this year?
Yeah, by the end of this year, man, I'd like to get, my goal is 3 fights. I'm starting a little bit later in the years, getting a fight June 9th for the first time, this year. So I'm just planning on hopefully being healthy, taking care of my recovery and staying active for these next like end of the year. Hopefully I get something in like September, and then maybe fight again for Risen for that New Year's Eve card, or yeah, maybe even get a title shot again. There's always that option as well. I feel I'm like 1 or 2 fights away from getting back to that belt if necessary, if that's what's on my mind. And that is definitely what's on my mind as well.
I bet it's got to be a little encouraging too to see guys like Juan Archuleta, who you're familiar with, go over and he's doing his thing now. He's chasing the featherweight belt too at this point. So I mean, when you see that kind of stuff, you're like, damn, kind of, I can do that.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, man. We talk all the time. He's telling me how much he really enjoyed going out and fighting for Risen in Japan in general. So yeah, he's got nothing but good things to say. So I'm excited, man. Very excited.
Yeah, gonna be a good time, Sergio. So, all right, bro. Well, before I let you go, we've talked plenty of times over the years now, Sergio, but I don't think I've ever asked you this, man. Like, if you never got into fighting, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
You know what? I think I would have just gone to college, honestly, and got something in the medical field. That's what I was kind of planning on doing. My mom was in the hospital. My oldest brother was in the hospital as well, working in the hospital. So I was like, most likely going to be something in the hospital field. Not sure at the moment what it would have been. Back then, I wanted to be a surgeon. Like I was like, oh, surgeon.
Sergio the surgeon.
Yeah, surgeon, exactly. It kind of mixes pretty well. But yeah, man, I think I took the right route. I've learned so much from this lifestyle, and the person I am nowadays is definitely from this sport, and it's changed me for the better.
Yeah, of course. I know that's always a tough question when I ask people that one, because they typically don't know, and it's like, I get it, it's worked out this way, but that can still be a good nickname for you, though. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's what is that? Ben Whitaker, the boxer,
right?
I believe. Yeah, he can keep that.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. So yeah, keep it in the family either way with that. So good deal, man. But all right, Sergio, I wish you the best of luck with the fight. It's going to be awesome to see. Always great watching you fight. Always great catching up, man. Safe travels heading over there. Hope you do get to enjoy and explore a little bit after the fight and all that good stuff, and maybe some future opportunities, and check off those fights for the rest of the year, man. But just appreciate you taking the time, and hope you have a great rest of your week and rest of your Tuesday, man. Appreciate you.
You as well, brother. Thank you for the interview, man. Have a good one.
And here comes his opponent, the Rizin flyweight champion, Kyoji Horiguchi. All right, awesome. Well, Kyoji-san, great to see you. Good morning, man. Just how are you doing? How are things in life these days?
Okay.
Why just okay? What, busy with the training? What's going on?
Yeah, it's a normal life for me, always. Yeah.
Yes.
Training, yeah.
Of course, man. Of course. Well, I got to congratulate you on, not just the title victory you had in your last fight, but the marriage, man, the wedding. I got to ask you, how did it go? Was that a dream come true? Just tell me about this.
Yeah, I'm really happy, and she supported for me a lot. make a food, clean up everything. So I'm happy like that.
Of course, man. Yeah, awesome to see. And you guys had some very cool outfits. Your suit and her dress, the colors I thought were really cool. Was that your idea or was it hers? Did you guys think of it together? How'd you come up with that?
It's everything.
You just let her
Yeah,
do all the planning.
uh, I don't have anything.
It's along for the ride.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. I gotta wonder though, Kyoji, like, since you live in Florida and then Japan, right? It's kind of like you have your two homes, right? So I'm assuming she doesn't kind of come with you during training camps. So is it hard to be away from her during that time?
Yeah, sometimes hard, but this time she can help a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, very cool, man. Yeah, you'd love to see it. So I mentioned the title victory again. So congratulations on that one against Shinru, making history, man. First two division rising champion, one of the only two division champions in the bantamweight and the flyweight. It's just in MMA. So racking up all the history, Kyoji. It's very cool to see. Just how happy were you with that win and the performance against Shinru? I'm sure it felt good because of what happened in the first fight, right?
いや、いや、もう、まあ、試合にはもちろん集中してましたけど、タイトル取ったとか取らないとか、そういう以前にもう、やっぱ、プロポーズを、なんていうのを考えてたりしたんで、まあ、あんまり、なんだろう、実感がなかったですね。勝った実感っていうか。は
So obviously, I was fighting for the title and whatnot. I needed to get that win, but to be honest, I was mostly focusing on a proposal that it was awaiting after the fight. So I couldn't really live or feel that winning moment because everything else was just I was so occupied with the proposal.
い。うん。
Okay, that's funny, man. Like, yeah, it's a lot of pressure to kind of get the win, right? So, do you think that kind of made it feel like a much more of a must-win situation? I'm imagining you probably weren't gonna propose if you lost, right?
No, if I'm lost, yeah, of course I'm not proposing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that
Of
would have made it
yeah.
a little bit different. uh, but yeah, got the job done anyway, man. Just like for the performance in that moment, though, like I said, making history with the flyweight title and adding it to all your accomplishments, man. Where do you kind of rank it? Like, is that kind of, would you say, atop of your list now is the best moment in your career because of it's got the proposal at the end of it, but again, it's just another belt that you've added. Where does it rank for you amongst all your best title wins?
まあでも、キャリア的にはやっぱり一番じゃないですかね。やっぱ、まあ、プロポーズもあったし、うん、人生大きく変わったんで、守るものができたんで、まあ一番じゃないですかね。
Yeah, I think I would have to rank in the first of my the top of my career. Obviously, I won the belt. I had the proposal. I have something to protect now. I have something to fight for. And when you consider all that, I think I have to put that at the top of my career.
Yeah, understandable, man. It was a great one and just a great moment overall. Very fun to see just in the ring like that. So a good deal, man. But here we go. We move on now to the Sergio Pettis rematch, which is a very, very exciting one. I think a lot of the fans are looking forward to it. I know that I am, man, because of how that first one went so close and, just get caught sometimes in MMA. But, how excited are you for the rematch, Kyoji? I'm sure this is one that is really exciting for you to get the opportunity to kind of right the wrong of the first one because everyone agrees you were unanimously beating Sergio until he just at one moment.
Yeah. So I'm happy this fight I can yeah, but one thing and just I need to up weight,
Hmm.
go bantamweight again. So my weight is kind of a little bit low,
Hmm.
but doesn't matter what I want to um, pays back. So I'm happy that.
Yeah, of course, man. And it's very interesting, going from this will be his first time going from the Bellator rules and like American MMA rule set to Ryzen, which is no problem for you. You've shown that you can do that plenty of times. But do you think it's going to be hard for him to fight in the Ryzen ring and like the rule set that Ryzen has?
I think it's same thing. Yeah, just a little bit different, but it's almost same. Yeah, no problem, I think.
And it's interesting too with this rematch, Kyoji, right? Like, since you were doing so well against him the first time, and again, it was just one little thing that kind of happened there at the end. Do you have to change very much for him? Do you kind of go in with the same approach since it was working, or do you think you'll kind of mix things up this time?
I will do maybe mix up everything, then also always hand high,
Yes.
That's all. Yeah.
Of course, man. Of course, it's gonna be a good one out there. And in the last couple months, Kyoji, I think it was you released a book, didn't you? Did you release a book recently?
Yeah.
Oh, how was that, man?
I'm not sure, but I think going well. I don't know.
What was it about? I didn't quite get to see exactly what the details were on it.
Just my fight life, like
Okay.
fight life, That's all. Like a history, yeah, like that.
All right, very cool. A little biographical, some fun stuff there. And I brought that up because I feel like I remember seeing you did kind of some media around that time, and you mentioned that one of your goals is to get back to the UFC. Was that right? Is that something you want to do still?
Yeah. Still, I want to back, but I don't know. Yes, of course I can. They don't want. I can't go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little frustrating, I'm sure, for you, man, because it would be great to see you. And when your teammate Alexandre Pantoja, he's the champion now over there, right? And everyone was wanting to see you fight him in Brazil, and I was like, well, that can't quite happen. But you guys were both down for it, right?
Yeah, really good friends, good fight, punching mate, so it's gonna be hard, but I want to fight with him. Yeah.
Would that be hard at all because your teammates, or is that kind of a fun thing you'd work with?
Yeah, I think a fun thing because all the time I talking about title shot, UFC title shot. Then I told the Pantoja, if I go to a UFC, I can easily beat you up, I say that, but it's a joke,
Right.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I mean, man, he's been doing very well, defending his title right now. Like, how kind of long do you think he can do this for? Of course, it's tough in the flyweight division because everyone looks at Demetrius Johnson, who, he won so many titles, defended for so long. Do you think he can get close to that? That's a very big, a big hill to climb.
I'm not sure, but I think he can do it, Yeah, I think, yeah.
Of course, he keeps getting better with each fight, so we will see. But you're in a unique position, though, Kyoji, where you're the Rise and Flyweight champ. Have all these options there with bantamweight fights too, and then the PFL and Bellator going on. Like, I know it's kind of a weird thing because your divisions aren't in PFL now, but you can do the Bellator fights. So I'm curious, do you have like interest maybe in any PFL fights? You're going to stick to Ryzen for a little bit. They have the tournaments. You'd have to go to featherweight for that, which is probably too big for sure. But how do you feel about the PFL side of things?
I don't know. PFL doesn't have a flyweight, so also bantamweight too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to make a weight,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to gain in those cases.
Yeah. But I need more chubby, right?
Exactly.
I don't want.
Yeah, so you're in a good spot though with having Ryzen and the flyweight title. So we'll see. But I'm curious, Kyoji, like, one of my favorite fighters, man, and you've been doing so great for so long now. Still relatively young, in life terms, kind of a lot of age in terms of MMA, and fighting career at this point. But it makes me wonder, man, you've accomplished all these things. Like we said, you had the wedding, different thing to look forward to now in life and all that. How much longer are you kind of wanting to fight for, man? It's like you've done pretty much everything except for the UFC title,
Yeah, I want every organization belt, but if they don't want, I can't go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my problem. Yeah, I don't know. Now is a loss of the way. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, next I will get a win next fight. Because last time I'm completely I don't remember.
Yeah.
That's why next time I will do that. For him. Yeah.
Of course, man. Would you say that the Sergio loss was kind of the one that sucked the worst, like out of the losses in your career, or would it be a different one?
Mm, honestly, yeah, maybe because maybe most あれなんていうんですか、このなんか歯がゆいっていうか、一番悔しいっていうか、いないかな。
It remembers. It sticks out. I remember it. It's a bitter memory.
Right.
The one that will always stick.
Yeah, yeah, understandable, man, for sure. So it's that's why it's so great that we get the opportunity to get the win in the rematch here this time around, man. But all right, Kyoji, before I let you go, man, like I said, you've been around for so long, seen so many different fighters and just everything throughout your career, man. I wanted to ask you, like, from your point of view these days, like, there's so many up and comers all the time, right? But in Japan, there's always so many fighters in general too. From your perspective, are there any young Japanese fighters right now that you've seen that you think can have bright futures and you like watching?
Honestly, I don't have interest young guy. Just I will what I have to do.
Right.
That's my career. I focus.
Okay, so you don't watch very much, or you just
Not very much. Yeah. Yeah.
only when you're there, right?
Yes. Yes.
There we go, man. Of course, got to focus on yourself in this sport, so that's for sure. But all right, Kyoji. Well, I'll let you go with that, man. I appreciate you taking the time as always. Congratulations again on the wedding, on the title, on the upcoming rematch here. Going to be a good one. Best of luck with it, man. Wishing you safe travels and safe rest of training camp and all that. So just appreciate you taking the time. Big arigato, sir.
Thank you so much.